All right, guys, hold on. Stop. There is a beef that is brewing between Justin Gaethje and the UFC, and it's being done through us. And I don't like when these things happen because there's nothing that we as fans like more than to start some kind of a conflict. It's the business that we're in. But if we go too far with it, you can interfere and disrupt a negotiation through the media. I have seen this happen. Here, I'll use good friend Ben Askren just as an example. But Ben had made a comment way back 2008, 2009. He was just getting done amateur wrestling. He was just coming over to MMA. And Dana saw the headline. And it wasn't nice. Whatever Ben said, it wasn't nice. And Dana admitted, I did not read the article. I had a million things going on. I saw the headline. What do I need this frizzy-haired kid for? That was literally what he said. And so it comes back to Ben, and then Ben was like oddly flattered. Ben's like, my goodness, I can't believe that Dana White knows who I am, but I can't imagine why Dana White would care what my opinion was. Like, whatever I said, I'm 25 years old. What would my opinion matter to the... But it was a learning lesson. It's like, oh, no. Whoever you are, if you can get a headline and somebody sees it, no matter who that is, including the president, and that is the impression that he's left with, you're now going to live with that. I mean, and it took them the better part of a decade to finally get that worked out. Now, the reason I'm telling you this, Justin Gaethje is not wrong, and that's why we cannot allow Justin Gaethje to say things that gets him moved to one of these weird islands. And the island is very straightforward, right? Are you with us or not? If we have a whole bunch of guys, and this is not me being my usual dick of a self towards Jon Jones, I'll just use him as an example because it's relevant right now and a name that you know. If we have a whole bunch of guys like Jon Jones, we don't have a business. If we get a whole bunch of guys like Francis Ngannou truly, and still to this day believes that he should have been able to sit down with the UFC and renegotiate prior to each and every fight. And the UFC is looking around going, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to have lunch with you and go back and forth with you when I have 767 U's under contract. It's the entire reason we did a 6-fight deal or an 8-fight deal, so that I don't have to talk to you for a few years. Literally. That's why you take the risk as a promoter of being able to cover a spread that escalates when you have no idea if your business is going to. You take the risk and sign a multi-fight deal so you don't have to talk to the guy. It's the only way you can free up time so you can go and get the other things done that you need to get done. Some guys don't understand this. Or they get good. Guys are really good. Hey, I won my last 5 fights, and therefore, I want to be able to sit down, and I want to be able to talk. And the guys are just going, when? When am I going to sit down? You live in that country, or you live in this state. Let me guess, the next thing. We sit down, and I got to fly you in? I got to book your hotel. I got to pick you up at the airport. I mean, let me guess. This is going to turn into 4 days of work for me to sit down with you to discuss a contract that I've already got signed. All right, now, I want you to understand why this is a very big problem and why we don't want Justin Gaethje. We love Justin Gaethje. Not only do we love Justin Gaethje, we owe Justin Gaethje. That's true. You know, are you with us or not? This is the traveling circus. I mean, and not for nothing, when you're putting on 44 events a year, you're tearing down the tent, you're putting it on a truck, you're driving to the next town, you're pouring the soft drinks, you're popping the popcorn, you're selling the tickets, you're tearing down, you're back on the road by midnight, driving to the next city. You go from Jackson Hole to Kansas City to Seattle, you're going to go right up the interstate into San Francisco. I mean, this is the way that this is done. There is not time to sit down and talk with somebody before each and every fight. Now, I say that in defense of Justin Gaethje. He does not make you do that. One phone call, he's in. Justin Gaethje never misses weight. He don't give a damn if it's 3 rounds or 5 rounds. He don't care if it's a ranked guy or not a ranked guy. He didn't care if you want to main event him or if you want to open the show with him. He's in. But he's got one thing wrong, and it's one really big thing. And here's the words that Justin used, and this is what concerned me. And I want to defend Justin right now and reset this narrative. Justin said they owe me. They owe me a title shot. And then he stated his record. He stated, I'm 1-3 in my last 4, and they were all stoppages, something along these lines. And I just got to step in right there, because I do believe that Justin is owed. I fully agree with Justin. But his memory is off. Of those last 4 fights he speaks of, 2 of them were title fights. Justin Gaethje, I was there. I was in Salt Lake. I watched him head kick and knock out Dustin Poirier, and I watched them put the belt around him. In fact, I remember the scene very well. It was George Masvidal, the BMF champion, who was in retirement, came back just for ceremonial reasons. And Masvidal and Gaethje actually had some heat. It was kind of weird, but it was the right thing to do. It was the right thing to do, right? Last year's pageant queen has got to pass the crown. And Masvidal went in, and he did that. And it was a glorious moment. And I had great concern as a fan, just purely as a fan. I had great concern when Gaethje was announced against Max for UFC 300. And my concern was whether or not the title would be contested. And it was. It was. And that comes with some very good benefits. It makes a significant difference where you are on the card. Between a co-main or a main, between opening the card or a prelim. A title or not. And so they contested the title. And when Justin speaks of my last 4 and here's what I've done, I just have to remind him 2 of those were title matches. So when he goes down to Max, it's very hard to remember that he even lost that fight. I have to remind myself often. It was kind of like Justin had another match like that. It was his Madison Square Garden. He took on Chandler. And I constantly forget that Chandler lost that fight. Because his stock went up. It was just so awesome. And I only bring to you, Justin loses this awesome fight to Max. But a title shot was on the line. And we know that because Max went right into a title shot. So it's very difficult when the guy, Ilia Topuria, who beat Max, then enters your division. It shuffles the entire deck down 1. So if Gaethje, by his own math, was the number 1 contender, when Ilia enters, it shuffles him down by 1. Which is the current spot that it appears that the UFC has him. And he's not wrong for anything he's doing. He's not wrong to be hungry. He's not wrong to look at the risks that he took, to look at the great performances that he put on. Including most recently, stepping in short notice against Fiziev. Just to remind you of that night, because Justin made it look like that was easy work. Just to remind you, he was the betting underdog. He was supposed to lose that fight. I'll put myself in there. I actually got to see some of Fiziev's training leading into that fight. I thought Gaethje was going to lose that fight. So, you got this great job and you've got this glorious moment. And you can do about anything that you want. Except have the attitude, I'm owed. You can fight for it, you can ask for it, you can campaign, you can lobby, you can go to the media. But you can't actually set your feet in that you're going to take your ball and go home. And we're having a totally different conversation had 2 of Justin's last 4 matches not been for titles. He deserved to fight for titles, but he just had one. He's only 2 matches separated from being the champion. And I feel like maybe he forgot that. And that's a good thing. To have that level of success that you can forget about some of your successes. But let's just start the story straight. Let's not get in the media and act as though Justin did this or Justin did that. No, he didn't. Justin's purely standing up for himself. A title fight is signed. Everything is moving along. Justin Gaethje has held nothing up. Nothing. There's no show, there's no date, there's no event that he's dug in and all of a sudden they've lost a match because he's not willing to compete. That's not where we're at. But we need to be careful to make sure that it doesn't get there.